We're here once again to dialogue with you, or actually bring you into our dialogue. This is Reverend Newsom Holmes. I am Reverend Anna Quintana. We both collaborate here at Unity Church of the Triangle in Raleigh, North Carolina. And many of you who are part of this community, hopefully we trust that you've been connecting cybernetically, but also spiritually. Do you feel the spiritual connection, Newsom, with our people? How are you doing these days?
Well, it's been going on for quite some time now, and I began to wonder what's happening to me, because I feel a little out of the rhythm of being a minister, of being in touch with people and feeling their experience. One thing about being here on Sunday in person is that you can actually kind of get a sense of where the audience is and you're moving with them. At this point, I'm throwing pebbles in the dark and hoping that it's landing in the right place. I miss that,
Yes.
and I hope we will get back to it soon. But given that that may or may not happen, I do think this has been a great time for turning inward and to letting a reordering happen inside each of us to fit a new rhythm. If I could just take a moment,
Sure.
I just think that the world needed a break from itself, and this virus has given us a chance to set the reset button again, to look at, do I need everything I've been doing, and do I need everything I own, and am I in the right job? Am I doing the right position? What is my calling from the world? How could I be more fulfilled? These are big questions, and with a lot of time on your hands, they tend to percolate up to the surface, even if you don't ask them. But if you do deliberately ask them, it's a wild ride and a wonderful opportunity you wouldn't get in the usual year. And so
I definitely agree. And also I was thinking that now we either navigate internally or externally in the online, right? And there's so much information out there. It's every spiritual teacher has a perspective on the whole thing, and some of them are really enriching. Some of them might not be. It depends on who we're resonating with, right? But a while ago, I was watching one of Deepak Chopra's videos, and he's making an argument on having a positive mind or a quiet mind. And it's not that I can just rephrase everything he said, but almost of what I managed to gather for myself, it's like the positive mind. We could all use positivity, and that's one of the highlights or contributions of the Unity philosophy. Actually, the current slogan is a spiritual a positive path to spiritual living, right? So it's one of the core things about Unity is staying positive, right? But he says sometimes it's hard to manage your mind and to keep it positive, and it becomes a struggle. It's something you're forcing yourself to, and that's where he says might work better to shift into quieting the mind. And the way I see it, it's like one is managing the mind, and the other one is transcending it, which sometimes if we don't manage the mind well, we cannot transcend. I get that.
yeah.
But I also know that when we manage to have more quiet, it's like something else or a higher aspect of ourselves kicks in, and then we, at least for me, then I'm like, I feel that I am sustained and being protected and being given. And that's where maybe what I could not accomplish with my conscious positive mind now, because I have really gone deeper and open to my higher self to come in. Now I might get the help that I was initially looking for. You see what I'm
Yeah, I do.
trying to say?
I think one of the things that we could say also is that, and this is an idea I picked up from an evangelical preacher, which is essentially that when you can't do it is the time that God steps in the most. And
That's beautiful.
right. And if you could do it, I guess you're not you. I got this.
Don't give yourself your credit.
I mean, you could see the guy go, "I got this, God. Don't need you." But when you're desperate, you just come help.
Right,
help,
right,
help.
right. Yeah.
And so and then the question becomes, is that help always there, and we're just not using it? And I think the answer is yes. That essentially this presence, this divine aspect of this active in humanity aspect of the all that is always waiting, willing and able
To be invited in, to be.
but doesn't always have an open door to come through, because you are pretty clear you don't need it at that moment. You're looking other places. You're busy. But when we get desperate, so sometimes being positive is kind of the opposite of being desperate. Like, I refuse to be desperate. Well, okay, well then you got this. I guess I don't need to help you. So there's a third perspective. Keep the mind quiet. Let there be no big problem anyway. Keep the mind positive by actively lifting weights in that direction, or going, oh my God, I'm desperate, help. And all of them, I think, in the course of a life, have their time.
And have value,
Yeah,
right?
right.
As I was hearing you, I was reminded of this quote from Joel Goldsmith, the metaphysician that we did some study a while ago. And he says, what God can do, God is doing. Uh-huh. So it's almost like with whatever level of consciousness you give me, this is how much God can express itself or herself or himself in you. Oh, yeah. So it's a matter of opening so that we're willing to let go. It's about letting go, Neusom Holmes.
Yeah. It's a lot to live artfully anytime, in my opinion. Under stressful...
Artfully, like from art?
Yeah, like with skillful means, as they would say in Buddhism.
Okay.
Not a blunt instrument that always turns to the same thought process, but one that pays attention and is creative in that situation, somehow making the most of it, knowing what has worked in the past, what might not have worked in the past, and how to blend those two. Yeah, I think it's tricky being a human being. It's not easy. And one thing about people who sit on this side of the camera often say to people who they can't see, who they're not in touch with, oh, you just do it like this.
Yeah.
And you go, well, yeah, when you're on the other side of the camera and you're looking, it's easy to go, yeah, right, because it isn't that easy all the time.
I think that's one of your attributes, Neusom, that you always stay real. And also, as I'm hearing you always taking up Buddhist perspective, you know that you somehow have this reputation that you're like the unity Buddhist minister. I know of other ministers who are like the Pentecostal unity ministers, or the Catholic unity minister. We all have some flavor, let's say it that way. And I find it fascinating that you have managed to bring within this unity world an Eastern perspective that, to me, particular, has been really beneficial. So I just take a moment to say thank you.
And what kind of minister would you say you are?
I don't know. You tell me.
Puerto Rican? No. I don't know.
Some people here call me the party minister, but tell me, how would you label
that's
me?
only half of you. I I mean, I do think you do a good job of partying. For
Right,
sure,
yeah.
you have kept this community dancing and laughing and all that a lot. But I do think on the on a little bit more serious side, you're the devotional minister. Do you have?
I love that. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Well, as a party minister, well, I think, I feel sincerity. I feel that sense of prayerfulness, the compassion for people's suffering, the sensitivity to your own suffering, and your willingness to, whether you wanted to or not, you've gone through a bit. And so this has deepened you into that. But your devotion, especially around, I think, Jesus and the love and attraction to the divine, this is palpable.
Can you tell that I'm in love with the divine?
Are you?
I am.
I'm jealous already.
I am in love. I am. It's really. I'm right now. My heart is like really opening because I just love loving God.
Yeah.
And I'm so touched that somehow that you're labeling me in that way, because I didn't think I'm like, that's right. I have never seen what is my approach, but I think it's one of devotion. And I heard that devotion is really an intense love for the divine. And it's heart-centered. And maybe that's why I have connected with my beloved Ram Dass, because what he used to do is Bhakti Yoga, which is the yoga of devotion. And that's where I meet with him. We all have our ways, but it's from the heart that I just experience. So.
Yeah. And I think it's true for all of us. We have a flavor that we bring to the spiritual practice, and it's good to know what it is. It's also good to have a smorgasbord if that's who you are.
Can I do a little ad commercial?
You might.
So if you're looking for a spiritual community in which you can really be yourself and have the freedom to find that connection to the divinity, join us. You will find a Buddhist unity minister and a devotional unity minister, and lots of people here with open hearts that are going to share that beautiful journey with you.
Yeah.
How do you like that as an announcement?
It was very well done.
So
I felt the love. So one of the things I think, I will say this about Unity of the Triangle. I have always been impressed with the people who are here. There is something about well, I'll say one thing I know is here. People take responsibility for their own experience a lot here. And in some spiritual communities, there's a lot of judgment about how people should be and all that sort of stuff. That's not the game here. The game here is to own your own life and to make it better and not to be in somebody else's business about it. I love that about this place.
And the fact that we have genuine spiritual companionship, that we can be that and share that in company of people who will support us truly, because they really mean business. They're really into a serious path of experiencing and exploring and being God.
Right.
So
it's a wonderful place. Can
I show you a new way we're going to be hugging for now?
You may.
This is how we're going to be hugging for now. This is like the heart. Can you do that?
Yes.
So just feel the love, Neusom Holmes. Do you feel it? Now hug me back. Okay, I got that. And one that we send out there, may you receive the loving hug from our hearts into yours. Do one for the people.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah. I hope you all have a great week. We'll see you next week. And remember that this community would love you to be part of it. And also, if not in person, online. So like us and love us and all the things that you normally do for people you find comradeship. We'll see you next week.
See you. God bless.